What's up, people? I'm Shaggy, the opinionated hippie. Today I'm going down a brand new rabbit hole. Moody Blues. You can see it in the title. You can see it down there. A couple days ago, I was surfing on the internet, unfortunately, and not on the beaches of California. When I came across, sought out, and was looking for inspiration, and I found two lists, the top 25 British bands of all time and the top 20, I think it was, wasn't 25, 20, maybe 25, progressive rock bands of all time. And there was a band on both of those lists that I know very, 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 very little about. That band being the Moody Blues, one of the top 25 prog rock bands, one of the top 25 British rock bands, according to these lists. I'm not saying whether those are right or not. You may have your own opinions. I've never listened in my life with intent to an entire Moody Blues album ever. It is a band I've never, ever gone into. I know Nights in White Satin. I know of its existence. I did not like it back in the day. I probably have not heard that song in decades. I know that Tuesday Afternoon song, and I think that's what it's called. And I know they had a song in the 80s, like Your Wildest Dreams or something like that. I know of those three songs. If there's more, I'm not aware of them, even though in my conscious there might be something I'm going to be like, oh, that's the Moody Blues. I'm pretty sure I've only listened to two Moody Blues albums. A friend of mine bought that 80s album at some point when we were in high school, and I'm pretty sure we were playing in television, probably football, maybe soccer or hockey or tennis or bowling. Television had a lot of good sports games back in the day, people. But I know I'm almost positive he put that on at one point when we were playing because he had just bought it. But I was busy playing in television, so I wasn't paying attention to it. I didn't then go run out and buy it, so it didn't have an impact on me. And if someone asked me to bet whether or not I had been to a party in college, I went to school in Berkeley, California, a lot of hippies. If somebody had told me to bet whether I had been to a party and at some point somebody had put on a Moody Blues album, Days of Future Past, I'm pretty sure that's the name of an album, I would be a fool to bet against it because I'm almost positive at some point somebody was like, dude, you got to check this out. And the whole room had to zone out to whatever Moody Blues vibes. So that's it. That's my knowledge of Moody Blues. I have not read any articles. I've not read any Wikipedia. All I've done is I've gone and I've searched for an official discography, and I'm going to go down that rabbit hole and listen to every album of what is apparently one of the best prog rock bands of all time and one of the best British rock bands of all time. And so I'm starting today with their first album. As we go forward, depending on what I think my thoughts are on an album, I will either do an album, a video, or maybe combine videos if all right, I didn't really like that one, I have not much to say, we'll move on. So who knows how it'll go. But I'm going to go through the whole catalog. So I honestly have no idea. I generally have no idea whether they had a good period, a bad period. I don't know whether that 80s period was I know they were on MTV, but I don't know whether it was critically acclaimed. So I'm going into this as blind as I could, and I'm going to stay that way. As far as the Zappa connection goes, the only other thing I do know about the Moody Blues, but I know this because of Paul McCartney and the Wings, is that Denny Lane was in the Wings, and I believe he was one of the founders of the Moody Blues. And he is on the album I'm going to talk about today. That much I know. In fact, he wrote a couple of the songs on this album. So at some point he obviously leaves because he joins the Wings, but I don't know when that is. So today I'm going to talk about their debut album. It's called The Magnificent Moodies. At least that was the British version. It was re-released in the States as Go Now, the Moody Blues #1. Go Now being one of the hits on the album. I believe that's why they named it Go Now. From what little I've read about this album, trying not to get too much into it, trying to just do this by the music. But this was a pretty much what I would call a 60s British debut album. It is kind of exactly what you would expect from a 60s band and a debut album. I'm going to guess that their sound kind of changes a little bit after this. There's a lot of cover songs. You go to the Kinks, you go to the Stones, you go to the Beatles, you go to the Who, any of those those iconic British bands from the 60s. Their first album, if not their first couple albums, heavy on covers, heavy on the studio being, hey, you got to do this stuff. Let's see if people care about you. Let's see if people want your sound before we're going to trust you enough to write your own songs. This album has a number of originals. I think there's 4 originals. The rest are covers. 2 very strange covers on this, or one very strange cover, but it kind of works. Yeah, so it sounds like a very early 60s album. It has that sort of typical 60s rock sound. The thing that stood out to me was the piano playing in particular. I have a feeling that as we get into the proggier stuff, maybe we're going to lean on keyboards and piano and that aspect. The vocals weren't bad. And I think Denny Lane was the lead vocalist on a lot of this, though my favorite vocal is not from Denny Lane. It's from Mike Pinder, who is sorry, I'm learning all this as I go, who is the piano player. They do a cover of I Don't Mind, James Brown's I Don't Mind. I think that's probably one of the best songs on here. Nice, cool, mysterious, got a nice, slow, dramatic piano vibe. There's some sort of Janis Joplin-esque bluesy energy. The singing I'm not comparing to Joplin, but that sort of impassioned bluesy kind of energy I think is there in the vocals. It's kind of a scrappier song that's on here. So I thought that was a really good standout song. There's another song, an original song, in which Pinder and Danny Lane wrote called Let Me Go, which is, I see the prog kind of seeping in, like a little art rock before art rock exists. Really low key. There's somewhat of a dramatic theatrical quality about this song. It almost sounds like there's elements of it that remind me of Queen when they get theatrical. It also sounds like maybe it could be the theme song for like a really low key villain, like not this bombastic, here I am to destroy the world, but like I'm just kind of sneaky and underhanded. And it's a song about like love lost, about somebody who decided to let somebody else let me go. Like, you let me go and I'm not happy about being let go. I thought that was a pretty good song. The rest of it wasn't bad at all. But those were the 2 tracks that really, really stood out to me. The opening track, I'll Go Crazy, really nice piano work, kind of one of the more typical 60s rock sounding songs on here. Something You Got was a little bit slower, kind of a nice gentle stroll vibe, kind of like nice sequencing here, come out a little strong, turn the temperature down a little bit for the second song. The third song, Go Now, is I believe the one that was a hit of some point somewhere. Kind of a nice piano type ballady thing, but then it kind of quickly evolves in like a 60s pop song. It's a love song. Sounds like something that I wrote would be a soundtrack to like a movie like Diner, just kind of playing in the background as everybody walks into the diner and stuff to like establish the mood. Nice piano energy in the middle. There's like a little break that I think leans a little bit towards those proggy tendencies that must be developed later if this is going to make the list as one of the greatest prog bands. So you get a little bit of that in Go Now in the middle section. Can't Nobody Love You, a slower number, not as energetic as Go Now, just kind of bringing the temperature down. I don't know, Go Now, is that an original? It's written by Larry Banks and Milton Bennett, but I don't know who they are. Are they in the band? They are not in the band, so yeah, that's a cover of somebody. Go Now is or was it written for the Moody Blues? Oh, by Larry Banks. Yeah, and then the Moody Blues covered it. Don't know much about Larry Banks either. And then we get the I Don't Mind, which I think is absolutely fantastic. And then I've Got a Dream closes out the first half of the British side. Just kind of a their song. And then the side 2 opens up with Let Me Go, which I thought was that cool kind of low-key villain-esque vibe. That was a really good song. Good lyrics. I like the energy coming through in this song. Stop, kind of an upbeat, a little more fun, kind of like early Traffic, like not as crazy as like a Berkshire Poppies kind of craziness, but a little more of that Traffic early pop psych vibe seeping in there that I think is pretty cool. Thank You Baby is upbeat 60s pop. And then they do a cover of It Ain't Necessarily So, which I think it's an interesting choice of cover songs. I'm not sure it necessarily works as a cover song, but I like the choice. If they sing it, they do the vocals. The lyrics are great. I mean, if you don't know the lyrics, it's about don't necessarily believe in what the Bible says, because the Bible says this, and that ain't necessarily so. So I like that the fact that they're actually singing the song, not just like an instrumental cover, which most of the time it seems like, well, I guess I know it from Zappa. That's the one time. So anyways, but yeah, kind of a good choice. There's a Zappa connection right there. True Story, kind of a Buddy Holly rocker. Very much, but maybe a little rougher because it's the 60s. And then Bye Bye Bird is like a very bluesy, harmonica, hyper kind of upbeat rock vibe. So yeah, there's a number of different songs on the American and Canadian versions, but I think the standout songs are on that British version, at least in my memory, and the couple of times I listened to both of these. But I am going to use this British version as sort of because I'm going to rank these as I go forward, but I'm going to use this British version as sort of like the snapshot of their debut album. But yeah, but that's all I got for this. One album, I'm only done the first. I believe the second one is their sophomore album is Days of Future Past, which is the one that I think is like their iconic Prog album. I think that is the one that is Nights of White Satin and maybe Tuesday Afternoon. Maybe both of those songs are on there. I have not listened to it yet. I'm going to listen to it tonight after I post this. But yeah. So yeah, that's it. That's my first jump into the Moody Blues discography. If there's anything super interesting you want to share that you know about this, facts, information, maybe don't prepare. I mean, if you are a Moody Blues fan, maybe don't prepare me. If it gets bad, let me find that out on my own. But if it's not going to get bad, like hype me up for the excitement that's to come. But anyways, yeah, I'm excited about this. I'm discovering a new band, a pretty, I guess, significant band that I know nothing about. So this will be a fun journey for me, at least. Hopefully some of you can come along for it. But that's it. Yeah, let me know your thoughts on the Moody Blues. In this album in particular, don't give anything away for days, unless it's like this has already been up for 3 or 4 days and I've already listened to it and formed my own opinion. But anyways, yeah, that's all I got. Subscribe, like, share, comment, do all those things. And I appreciate your watching. And go listen to this album. It's an interesting little slice of 60s pop, a little bit of prog in there, a little psych, a little everything. Yeah. All right. That's all I got. Thanks. Peace. Talk to you later.